YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with our first fantasy mock draft of the 2022 offseason. I got to give a shout out to a longtime supporter, Big Ounce, on Twitter. He DM'd me saying we should get on this now. Usually I do these mocks, but a little later. I'm usually a last second type of guy when it comes to fantasy because injuries, things like that. But it makes a good point because everyone's looking for this stuff right now. If you're on Twitter, it's all fantasy right now. Everyone's talking fantasy, trying to figure everything out, get different perspectives. So good suggestion here, and I'm excited to do it. We can do multiple of these. This one is a PPR mock draft, and we'll randomize where I select in the draft here in a second, but very excited about this. I've been on a roll in fantasy, so I feel pretty good about my strategy. Excited to share it with everyone here. And again, more of these to come. Full NFL coverage here. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on, follow us on Twitter. A lot going on there. Link down below. All that will be much appreciated. So going to use, Fantasy Pros. If you type in fantasy football mock draft simulator on Google, it's like the first one that comes up. I think it's the best one as well. We also could do mock drafts with real people, like with you guys. We can set that up in the future if that is suggested a lot. That'd probably be a pretty good idea, in the near future. Follow us on Twitter to keep up to date with anything we got planned and try to, interact with you guys with things like that. So, but yeah, Fantasy Pros is the website. So we'll do PPR for this first one. Of course, we'll always do Snake, 12 teams. Draft position, I was going to click this randomize button, and we were gonna go 12th. All right, we got the last pick. I don't mind the pick. Some people always like freaking out, like, well, what pick am I going to get? I really don't care, what pick I get. I never had a problem. I don't mind picking. I actually don't like picking very early. If I had to say, I really don't care too much, though. Move this down a little bit, but we got, so this is kind of just suggestions on who to take. Kind of wanted the cheat sheet shows everybody here. So Travis Kelce was suggested. Be a great pick. Something I've noticed when I've done very well, I've been really heavy on receivers. I take the receiver in the first and the second round. That actually works out for me. And then you don't end up with the best running back, but there's always random running backs that step up. I've kind of noticed that. There's a lot of injury-prone guys at the top. I'm not a big McCaffrey guy. You see everyone's rankings, they still put him at 1 or 2. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to stay away. There's certain guys that Eckler stayed healthy for the most part last year. They bring Spiller in, so he might be a little risky, but everyone knows there's some safer picks. I'm more of a safe pick type guy when it comes to injury concern, I suppose. But last year I actually did I have the last pick in the first round in my main league, very late first round pick, and I ended up going Davante Adams, and then I ended up going Stephon Diggs, and that might be the case here. You see some other options as well. Just go heavy on the receiver position. I could go Travis Kelce, though. That's pretty tempting. Davante Adams away from Aaron Rodgers, but with Derek Carr. I'm excited about that. Will there be a step down? I don't really know necessarily if there will be. I still feel very good about taking Davante Adams here, and I seem to have him a lot in fantasy, so I'm going to continue to roll with that, be my first-round pick. I seem to be picking late in the first round most years, and it works out when I do, and it works out when I get Davante Adams, so I love that route there. And I'm picking again, and this is where it's tough. It's kind of looking through again and make sure I don't miss anybody. I mean, I'm going to have a problem at running back. It's going to look like I'm going to have a problem, but I always end up all right because there's always a running back stepping up. It seems like a different running back at the top every single year. Like Jonathan Taylor made that jump last year, except for Derrick Henry's all the way at the top as well. But somebody's always going to make that jump, So I'm not really too panicky about taking running backs early. I'm really just looking at Travis Kelce and Stephon Diggs right here. Man, Travis Kelce might get even more targets, though, with no Tyreek Hill, but they do have a lot more receivers. But Kelce is a safe bet. Kelce and Diggs. Let me get Kelce here. I guess it's 50-50. Last year I had Davante Adams and Stephon Diggs. I loved it, but Kelce might be more productive this year. So Adams, Kelce, feeling pretty good about that. But I didn't have my second receiver. Again, something I like to do is just grab 2 receivers right off the bat there. But are we on the clock again? So we see what is available. Running backs, it's starting to, starting to run out of running backs there. That's always the problem. It looks bad, kind of, with the running back situation, but it always ends up working out for me. So looking at the receivers, you got T. Higgins up there. You got Michael Pittman. Now has Matt Ryan, Jalen Waddle. Some good receivers there. Not much of a difference to me between T. Higgins was very good fantasy last year. Not a giant difference between some guys up here and some guys down here. So we could wait. We could grab that running back before it's too late. David Montgomery, that's a tough one, Montgomery, because I think the Bears' plan is to pound the football. So that's good for Montgomery because they don't want to put too much on Justin Fields right now. They didn't really build the passing game around him that strong, so they could be looking to run the ball. But are they going to be playing from down where they can't run the ball a whole lot? That's kind of the big thing there. And then you look at, I'm kind of leaning David Montgomery still. I do think there's a bit of a difference, and you do have Antonio Gibson. They do have a number of running backs in there though for Washington. Yeah, I do like David Montgomery and Antonio Gibson at the top here for my running backs. I'm leaning Montgomery here. I really think the Bears' plan is to not overdo the passing. They're going to run the ball, play some solid defense. So the games could be low scoring. There's a lot of running there. So we'll take Montgomery, and then we're looking. Well, we're in the clock again. So basically get 2 picks: Antonio Gibson, T. Higgins. Could start to look at quarterbacks. There's some people that will take a quarterback too early, but there's a lot of people that kind of worry about taking quarterbacks too early and they overdo it. They kind of wait. Quarterback at the end of the day, it's not the most important position on your roster. People view running backs, receivers. I'm a big receiver guy, more important. But at the end of the day, the quarterbacks score the most points in fantasy. So I think some people undervalue them. So you do want a really good quarterback on your team. So I actually start to think about it around this time. I'm not going to do it quite yet, but start to think about it. Looking through these receivers, I like some of these guys down here as well. Chris Godwin's that's some really good value down there. Juju Smith-Schuster, some really good value. So there's a lot of good options for receivers. I usually grab 2 receivers real early, and I don't know if I'm going to go that route here. Even though I'm really thinking about Higgins. Liking Gibson. I like Breece Hall as well. You just kind of worry about Michael Carter in there. I had Elijah Mitchell last year. That worked out pretty good. So many running backs, the 49ers, it feels like they switch every year. Elijah Mitchell's a pretty good option there too. I was thinking I'm going to go with Gibson, but I like where I'm at. I like where I'm at because I kind of can wait for a really good player on either side here. We're going to go Higgins. I love what he did last year, actually. Jamar Chase is gone. I had Jamar Chase last year. Let's get Higgins. I like that. Okay. And they ended up working out pretty good. See the quarterbacks, a couple more come off the board, but that worked out pretty good because Elijah Mitchell is still there. So I got that top available receiver, and I'm still able to get Elijah Mitchell, who I was kind of looking at along with Antonio Gibson last time. So I really like that. I'm not really too worried about Mitchell. Was so good last year. He's still so young. I still feel like he's got upside that I think he's going to be the guy. I'm pretty damn sure there. We got Hollywood Brown sitting there as well for receivers, and that's going to be a really good option the first 6 weeks. Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown got that connection still. So that's a pretty good option. Is the role going to decrease when Lockett's value moved down because no Russell Wilson? I still like Lockett. Mooney's really by far the best option for the Bears there. So I don't want to take too many Bears though. That might be not the team to take too many guys from. Renfro's that's good value down there too. There's some good value. Robert Woods has got to be the guy for Tennessee. They got Burks ranked ahead of Woods. I don't think I really love that. I'm not loving what I'm hearing about Burks, not being able to practice, in that camp a whole lot for him. Maybe he's out of for the Titans, so he's out of shape right now. Gage could be sneaky. There's a lot of good receiver options down here. So where's our roster? It's up here. Can't really see it. There we go. All right, so we're looking all right. I'm thinking about Lamar up there actually. I just don't want him to get hurt again. I'm not really. They kind of just played it safe this past year with him. There's nothing really super concerning. I had Josh Allen last year. That worked out for me pretty well. So they are starting to come off the board. So not much of a difference between Lamar and Kyler Murray. But after that, I do think it's a little bit of a drop-off. I'm going to maybe a little bit of a risk. I normally don't risk the injury guys, but I'm not really viewing Lamar Jackson as an injury guy. Some people probably disagree with that, but so I'm going to get my quarterback. That's just a lot of points that we could be missing out of. Yeah, see the quarterback start to come off the board there after I take him. So I'm glad that I did that because again, it's a pretty big drop off of points that you're getting per week, which is important obviously. So we're looking like a pretty balanced roster right now. Another thing I always do is kicker and defense last in that order because I usually I pretty much play defense by week as it is, and that's worked out for me. So I'm going to stick to the defense last. I usually do kicker second to last. So now we're looking at the flex to fill that starting flex role. We're just going to take best player available is what we're going to do here. So you take a look at the running backs. Damian Harris is pretty good value down here. Kenny Walker, Chris Carson might retire because of that neck situation. So it's tough though because you got Walker and you have Rashad Penny, but maybe Seattle forces the future there in Walker. Penny, maybe they don't want to re-sign again. That's a possibility. James Cook could be a really good pick down there. It's a pretty good value pick. Take a look at the receivers. I want to go best available. Devontae Smith could step up this year. I think Brandon Ayuk was disappointing last year. I think we all thought he was a good pick. Disappointing last year. I do think he can pick it up this year. He kind of got going a little bit later. Christian Kirk, I think people label him as overpaid, but when it comes to like fantasy and how productive we think, guys, we have to throw that out the window. Like he should be pretty solid with Trevor Lawrence there. So Christian Kirk could be a very good option. I mean, they paid him for a reason. Maybe you don't want to throw the money out the window. You take a look at it, how much they paid him. They paid him that much money for a reason, so they were going to use him. So Gabriel Davis really got good at the end of last year as well. I'm looking at, I like Damian Harris. Well, I got 2 picks in a row. That's why I like having 12th pick. So I'll probably, looking through real quick, I think there's a big difference between Damian Harris and a lot of these other guys. And Miles Sanders is there too. But I want one of those receivers. Looking at Renfro and Christian Kirk. Does Renfro's production go down because they get Devontae Adams? Or you could see it going up, because he's getting better on top of adding that guy that everyone has to focus on. I guess the downside is Renfro's a pure slot guy, and Adams does do a lot of damage from the slot, but he's very good outside as well. That's why maybe he's considered the best receiver in football. And then Christian Kirk, man, they paid him a lot of money for. It's Kirk versus Renfro on best available for me. You got Claypool sitting there as well. There's a lot of good options. Here. And then Gallup, I know he might miss early in the season, but more options for him. Targets for him, I should say. Kirk or Renfro. I'm feeling Kirk right now. I think they got a big-time plan for him. I do like Renfro, what he did last year. We're gonna go Kirk, and then we're gonna grab. Could go Renfro here too. I was thinking Damian Harris though because there's just so much of it. To me, a big difference in the rest of the guys. I don't feel that comfortable. Miles Sanders, Kareem Hunt, don't feel super comfortable. Talent-wise, they're right there with Damian Harris, but I like Damian Harris here, so we're gonna grab him. I know they like Ramondre Stevenson. They have multiple running backs, but Damian Harris is their guy. For this year at least. So we're going to go that route. And then we are on the clock again. Liking James Cook. We got Ronald Jones on Kansas City too. We got Mostert with the Dolphins. Yes, some different scenery for some of these guys. The only injured guy I drafted last year was Gus Edwards. I drafted him in both my leagues, and then he got hurt. He might have got hurt the night I drafted too. I usually wait till all the injuries are past too, so that was kind of a bummer there. Jarvis Landry with the Saints. Ooh, I like the value of Valdes-Scantling down here, actually. Wow. That's some really good. And you got Jameson Williams down here. He is injured, though, so that's why it's a little scary. A lot of the young guys are down here. I really like the value of Valdes-Scantling down here. There's always that surprise guy. Can we show more? Show more for the receiver. The Panthers are tough, because who's going to be their quarterback? I don't really know right now. I like this. I like the Valdes-Scantling value. I really do. I think he's going to be very solid. Patrick Mahomes. I think it could be one of the top receiver options. I like Juju Smith-Schuster as well, obviously earlier, but just that injury concern. I like Valdes-Scantling there. I think James Cook might be a little risky one because do you view him as a starter, every down back, running inside, inside runs, inside the tackles, inside the guards? Nobody really views him. People think that he could be good there, but nobody really views him as that big time, guy that's going to handle that load. But that's that pass first offense. He's one of the better receiving backs in football, even though he hasn't taken a snap yet. So I think he'll be really involved, and I think they obviously the Bills want to use him. They draft in the second round, but obviously they want to use him in the passing game because you don't just draft James Cook and not use him in the passing game. But if you're only going to use him in the passing game, it gets pretty damn predictable and obvious. So therefore, I think they won't be predictable and obvious. I think they'll use him a bit in the running game, and he could be their best running back right away. So I really like James Cook. I really like that draft pick by the Bills, and I like that draft pick for myself as well. So I'm going to take James Cook there. That's a rookie I got a really good feeling about, just being a big-time threat, So we'll go that route. And a couple more bench spots here. How many more picks we got? So, because, again, I always do defense and kicker last. Kicker, then defense last. So then we're going to grab who's our flex? A receiver. So we could use another running back here. We could use that quarterback, tight end, and then kicker defense. So that's the route I kind of want to go. I don't want to force anything. I'm usually a best available. So I could be 3 running backs. Oh, no, we got 4 running backs. We could be good with that if the best available is a receiver. I'm trying to look through this. I do want to see the tight ends as well. Is it cut off? No, it's right there. We did get Travis Kelce, so I don't really want to. I'm good with playing Travis Kelce. I'm very good with playing Travis Kelce every week, but the bye week, I don't pay attention to the bye weeks too much either. I don't want to go crazy. I have way too many buys. I do have a few 10s, but that's 1 week we're worrying about. I'm just trying to get the best possible players. I think people worry about things too much, panicking about taking running backs too early, panicking about not taking running backs. Like people have forced the running backs too early. Don't necessarily need to do that. People don't want to take quarterbacks too early. I think people forget that it's a lot of points. You want to get those points. You don't want to miss out on those points. So I do think in the bye weeks, I think people kind of worry about those things a little too much. But yeah, tight ends, I'm not going to value it super high because I got Travis Kelce. I just 1 week I need a guy for, and I might be a guy I end up picking up. So I'm kind of just going to go best available here, which I thought Corey Davis would be a lot better last year. Could he be better this year? Jihad Dotson could be a good pick. Dotson could be a really good pick. McLaurin, I think they'll sign McLaurin, but that's interesting. But not too many big-time options after that. They felt like Washington had to have him there. They knew they were targeting him. They traded back a little bit, took him. I think he really stands out. Or you got Boyd up here, too. I did take T. Higgins. To me, Dotson really stands out. Van Jefferson's tough, too, because they brought in Allen Robinson. Kind of takes them away from them. They don't have OBJ, though, but I think they'll eventually bring OBJ back, so I'd be careful with there's a running back I really like, actually. It's a little, these rookie running backs I like. I like Algier. I saw his name. I lost him right there. I like Algier. I think he's going to take over, Because Patterson's kind of that running back receiver, and teams are starting to figure it out at the end of last year. I think Algier will take over as an actual running back. They got rid of Mike Davis, too, so they felt right after the draft, so they felt pretty good about that. But I like Rachaad White as well, kind of fits that Tom Brady offense. Big-time threat as a pass catcher, almost gives the receiver vibes, his body control, his hands, what he can do after the catch. I took James Cooker. That's a tough part. So I'm really thinking about Algier, but it is tough because I'm kind of banking on 2 rookie running backs stepping up. But, man, I feel good about I feel pretty good about what Algier could do here. He really could take over as that Falcons guy, but I do like Dotson too. So I'm looking at rookies. These rookies are making a big impact. I stole Jamar Chase. That's a different story than these guys, but I felt like I stole Jamar Chase last year. It was big time. But he was more of a sure thing than these guys. Man, I feel pretty good about my receivers too. I'm kind of gonna, at this part of the draft, I'm trying to get that steal. I'm trying to go for that. It's okay if it's a boom or bust guy. And to me, I think that's Algier. He could be the guy in Atlanta. Maybe it's not week 1, but he's a tough runner. He really fits Arthur Smith, what he's looking for in that offense. I'm doing it. I'm doing it there. I feel a little weird having James Cook and Tyler Algier. I know most people won't go for that, but that's just the running back position. A lot of these random guys step up. I'm going for boom or bust when it comes to it. So how many more picks I got before I go kicker and defense? I got to make 2 more. What's left for quarterback here? Yeah, I probably do want to take a look at the quarterbacks because I did draft Lamar Jackson, and he does have the injury concern based off last year, I suppose. There's good options here. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford. There's good options. Trey Lance is going to get rack up the rushing yards as well. How many passing touchdowns will he get, I guess is the question. How many passing yards? That's kind of the question. Derek Carr's tough because you had Devonta Adams, so it's like, they want to pass the ball more, right? And they get Josh McDaniels. They want to run the ball more, right? So it's a little tough. Trevor Lawrence, a little underrated there in my opinion, down at pick 18. I think he makes a big stride this year. But I'm Russell Wilson on that with that Broncos offense though too. I'm gonna go Tom Brady. This is where I probably should look at the bye. Where's the Lamar Jackson bye week 10, bye week 11 for Tom Brady. You take a look at the games. And week 10 they play Seattle. That's a very young defense. I'm liking it, so we're gonna take Tom Brady there. So that's pretty good quarterback group: Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady. So, and then we're gonna go with tight ends here. Hunter Henry, Robert Tonyan. Hopefully, he could stay healthy this year. Tyler Higbee, Albert O. I kind of know who I want here. If Deshaun Watson was playing, Njoku would be ranked a lot higher there. Jonathan Smith could step up this year. I mean, Hunter Henry was a touchdown machine last year. But I'm gonna go with Gerald Everett. I really actually like this. I was kind of thinking I'd probably end up picking up somebody for that once we get that Travis Kelce bye anyways. But Everett's a kind of a boomer bust guy here. Well, not really a bust. I think there's a lot of potential here in that Chargers offense. I'm going to take Gerald Everett. I like that tight end group a lot with Travis Kelce and Gerald Everett. So I'm getting players that I just really like here. I'm never gonna draft a guy. That's another strategy of mine too, which should be everyone's. There's going to be kind of who most people say is best available, but it's not a guy I feel great about. I'm looking for that boom potential, the guys that might be ranked. I'm never going to take a guy that I'm not in love with the idea of the potential there for this fantasy season. And then we're going to grab a kicker. Where are the kickers listed? We do have only 2 picks. So do I get my pick for the kickers? Looks like I do. All right. Was a huge Matt Gay guy last year, but we are going to go with Justin Tucker. Evan McPherson's good. Daniel Carlson's good. Young Wei Koo's good, but we got to go with Justin Tucker there. There's my kicker, and then where is my defense? Defense I play by week. It's just what I've always done. Some people don't like that. The rankings are probably. I know the Patriots play the Dolphins week 1. Dolphins play the Patriots. Chiefs got the Cardinals in week 1. Packers. Who the Browns got in week? I like the Browns defense for this year. I like the Ravens defense as well. So these might be good options games. They got the Jets in week 1. Trying to remember, looking at the Browns as well. Packers are going to have a pretty good defense as well. I just know I'm going to end up, no matter what I take, I'm going to end up switching my defense. I'm going to play by a week or by 2 or 3 weeks maximum. So that's why I kind of look at this. The Browns play the Panthers. Yeah, give me that Brown. I like the Browns defense. They got the pass rush. They got the secondary. They got that ability to create turnovers as well. I mean, the Bengals, Eagles, going to give this some really good options here. Again, I think the Packers defense are really good, but I know I'm going to end up picking somebody else up playing by week anyways. I'm going to take the Browns. I like their first 2 weeks. They gave me a C+. I'm going to disagree. I know how to draft. But those are always when we finish our actual drafts too. They always email you with your grade and what your record's gonna be. They're always just so terrible projections. But there's my team listed right there. I like what I got. There's no, I guess the downside is I don't have a top end running back, and it's a little risky of a group because I don't have a top end running back. And then I got, it's mainly risky because I got 2 rookies in there, kind of banking on them being productive. I'm pretty confident with myself. I'm confident with them. But I'm always looking at my team every year. I'm like, the running back's not looking extremely strong, but it ends up always working for me because somebody always steps up. I loved having Elijah Mitchell last year. This is kind of the route I take. I usually am a go receiver early, and I went Travis Kelce instead of going multiple receivers early, but I got Devonta Adams, I got T. Higgins, so I really like my favorite pick here is it might be Valdes-Scantling. I really like Valdes-Scantling. Got to stay healthy, but I really like him in that Patrick Mahomes offense. No Tyreek Hill there. Hearing good things about the connection with just their practices together, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. But I like that pick. I like the rookie running back picks. I like the Gerald Everett pick. I like all these picks, obviously, but I think I got some sneaky picks in here. That would be my team with the 12th pick. We can do more of these. We can do ones with taking feedback in the comments section, of course, and I instantly see it on Twitter if you tweet at us. Mainly, I don't always see DMs because there's a million of them loading up. I normally just don't go and look at them. Sometimes I do. But we can do another PPR one with a different draft position. We can do half PPR. We can do all that. Eventually we can do a mock draft, like a live mock draft with you guys, whoever will figure out who to decide who's in that. Our super follows should be live not too long from now on Twitter, so maybe that plays a part in that. But yeah, excited to do more of these, kind of get my perspective out there. You see some of my strategies. I really like, even in half PPR. I've actually been playing half PPR. I know most of the world plays PPR, but those leagues that when I say I do well when I draft receivers early, really sticking with receivers, those are actually half PPR. So I'm a big fan of getting the star receivers, and I'm including Travis Kelce in that as well, like the pass catchers, the star pass catchers. So I just always have Devonta Adams, it feels like. So I'm a big Devonta Adams guy. I was a huge Jamar Chase guy last year, what he did on my fantasy team. So got really lucky where I got him. So yeah, I'm excited to do more. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know everyone's probably got different opinions on these things. But again, always talking with you guys on our Twitter. There's a link down below for that. Please like, subscribe, turn notifications on. We got full NFL coverage. We're kind of dipping our toes in this fantasy stuff right now, but also kind of previewing the season with rankings based on how I think guys will play. We'll rank every unit, position group. So I'm excited about all that. So hopefully you guys are as well. I know things are getting busy in the NBA offseason world as well, so we can maybe talk about that. We'll talk about all about that on Twitter too. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.